Welcome back to Curse, Code, and Crown, a live play Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition podcast featuring a fully original world and campaign. I am the wizard Cronox, observer of time. Curse, Code, and Crown features our regular voiceover artists and improvisers, Laura Elizabeth as the Orc Count Eta and Princess Gwendolyn, Tyler Hewitt as Makka Deathcap, and Ryan LaPlante as Duncan Danno, alongside our dungeon master, the incredible Tom McGee. So get ready for an adventure including thrills, chills, and hope for a brighter tomorrow. It's time for Curse, Code, and Crown!
Gwendolyn, you are trapped yet again, although this time it's a luxury trap. But you are in this well-appointed guest room that is guest suite. It has a bedroom. It has like a clawfoot tub that is of literally no use to you now because your armor. And you know, it's very comfortable. But it is indeed another form of cage. You hear a bit of a commotion in the hallway. What do you do?
Commotion in the hallway. Well, I want to press myself against the door, see if I can hear anything.
Sure. Go ahead and roll me perception, please.
All right. I'm guessing this doesn't have anything to do with Blean Court.
I will actually give you advantage on this, yes.
Oh, cool.
It's a Blean door.
It's a 13.
I know. I got a Beleen.
It's a Dortal.
Oh my God, Tom.
Dortal, also good.
Beleen.
Thank you, Tyler.
Yes.
All right. So, Gwendolyn, you hear a bit of a commotion in the hallway as you hear guards dragging Eta past, taking her to join her friends in jail. Having pissed off the ambassador enough to realize that she really does not represent the Empire of Numbers, or if she does, it's some kind of cruel prank. As Eta, Laura, what are you pontificating on as you get dragged by?
I think I'm probably saying aloud to the guards. I don't think I'm fighting.
Yeah.
Physically, it's just like, I do not understand. I speak a truth and I get treated this way. Should I lie? Should I just start lying to you? Is that what you people want here? This is very confusing. I do not understand.
Honestly, yes. And then you hear more scuffling as they continue to drag Eta past. Gwendolyn, you've only recently met Eta, and I'm curious, would this surprise you? Does this seem like the natural outcome? Where are you at with this?
Do you know what? I don't think it's not something I'm thinking of because I know Eta very well, but because everyone we've met here seems to be like pretty quick to act and already made up their mind about us, that it's kind of not surprising that, oh, the last of us is going to jail. Yeah, okay.
Gotcha. Amazing. Okay. So with her gone, you are yet again kind of left to your own devices. What do you think you'd be doing while you kind of wait to hear further news? It's the good news is you're back in your body. So as being trapped goes, nice. It's nicer than before with the demons and such. But you also can't really make use of much in this room because you are a haunted suit of armor. So what do you think you're doing?
Is there like a sharp object anywhere? Like I'm thinking like an awl or like a letter opener.
Nope.
Even like a stone.
This is despite being well appointed, like as you open the drawers and things, like there's no cutlery. Like they're aware that this is where royal hostages are kept. So you need to be comfortable, but also not able to hurt yourself because that could also be a problem.
Okay. Well, then I think I'm basically going to take like an edge, like a point from my gauntlet and start basically carving a rune like into my breastplate.
What are you going to carve?
I'm going to carve so it basically
koi fish. So
it looks like a crossed like miners pickaxes
Mhm.
that are like cross but in like a circle, but their heads are pointing in the same direction.
Okay. I assume this is a level up.
It
ability?
is.
Mm,
It is.
exciting.
It is.
Well,
I'm carving a major rune into myself.
amazing. Well, you can save
Well,
that.
in this case, it's a minor rune. Am I right?
Oh,
Um,
That was quite good.
yikes.
yeah, I think this is something that like Gwendolyn's like, she's had that experience in Sprongwreck. I think being back in her body, she knows herself like even better. She's even more like fits into it. It
Mhm.
feels like home more than it did the first time she got put into her
Yeah.
armor.
Like this time you fought to get back in. The first time you
Yeah.
just ended up in there.
So now she's just a bit quicker, and maybe she'll be able to strike twice on an attack.
Mm.
I don't know.
Who knows? Who's to say?
Who's to say? I mean, flurry, attack twice. Yeah, attack twice when you attack. Yeah.
Oh, so
It
you're
says that
you're,
you
you're
would
to
have
say,
to.
yeah. Great.
You would have to
I'm to
follow
say.
the rules and attack.
The rules
twice.
are to say.
Says it. It's
Look.
to the sheet.
I may just be a small town country lawyer, but I know a few things about flurry of attacks. Yeah, I think it's also safe to say that having sort of studied the Emulium in Sprongwreck, that you would be more aware of how you could alter the armor to better
Mhm.
suit your needs. Cool. I love that. Okay, so you spend some time carving the rune. And then eventually your steward Block shows up again and says, hello again, Your Highness. I figured I should come and give you some updates about your stay here in Bleen. Once again, we're honored to have you. We are currently in the process of trying to open a line of communication to the king of Orvel so that we may arrange terms for the safe return of Presidentia Umos and First Blade Kel, if indeed they live, as we suspect they do. Unfortunately, our previous attempts to contact the king were met with some hostility and no small amount of, rather sharp words. So we're hoping that they will see reason knowing that we have one of theirs as they have two of ours.
Well, now, see, the thing is that, like, I'm pretty sure he's dead.
King Nikos?
Oh, that king. Right. So he is working with these, like, shitty guys that, like, killed everyone in Orvel.
Yes, that's what kings do.
Yeah, but, like, it's, like, ruining everything.
Be that as it may, he is the king of Orvel and he has our presidentia. You must understand where we are in this whole thing, unless you have another way to get the president back. And he looks at you like legitimately kind of hopefully.
Well, I mean, like, that's, like, literally what me and my companions are doing is, like, break the curse that's, like, affecting you all and, like, kick all the stupid assholes out of Orvel who took over and are being really mean to you guys. That's literally what we were doing when you took us prisoner.
I find that somewhat hard to believe, given
Why?
that Makka Deathcap himself is the one who cursed us.
Well, that's news to me.
We cut to the prison where your flashy new lawyer, Murdoch Truegood, and her seeing eye frog Dennis are excitedly giving you the rundown on your options. So Murdoch has just arrived. She's made her grand entrance, and she has promised to try and unfuck your situation. It's time to get legal, baby. Duncan, how do you respond?
All right. Well, you're not old and confused, so this seems pretty good to me. On the scale of evidence, Makka will tell you whatever you need in terms of the actual truth. I can perform as a character witness if your somewhat racist society will respect the opinion of humans. And we have an orc from the Empire of Numbers who has a large amount of paperwork about an ongoing conspiracy that Makka helped disrupt.
Yeah, okay. That's great. Listen, none of that's going to help you, but I like it. I like where your head's at. Let's keep it in mind. You were closer earlier, I think, with just kind of nudging things in the right direction, right? You're good with that. You seem like a guy with somewhat flexible morals, huh?
Let's just continue the conversation and see how flexible I need to be
Yeah, great. Love it. Look, we respect the process here. We respect the rule of law. I mean, Makka, Deathcap, baby, you get it. You're from here. Listen, it's good that you've been out there doing good works. That's totally fine. They want to execute you.
I was just going to say this is worth flagging. That Miss Trugood. Makka has a problem with secrets and not saying things that he knows to be true. So if there's anything that you want to have happen in a theoretical sense that you don't want to be blatantly spoken aloud in court or in front of whatever your equivalent of media is, I wouldn't talk about that with Makka. That might be a discussion you and I can have in your office or on the street or literally anywhere else.
And she kind of tilts her head to the side and just says, again, kind of speaking directly forward, like she isn't shifting focus to either of you because she doesn't need to. She just kind of says, okay, Makka, okay, all right. It sounds like your friend is speaking some truths here. What do you think your odds are of winning this case right now?
Well, it seems to me that by adhering to the laws of Bleen, it's much less inconvenient for my friends and companions. I was worried they would be placed in here with me, but if it is just me, then it doesn't really matter what they decide. I don't know why I haven't just turned into a frog and hopped through the bars, or dissolved into mist and flown out into the city. These are options that are available to me. I just thought playing along would make it easier on those who cannot.
And I gesture to Duncan. I continue just saying, like,
but if he is free to go, and if Ita and Gwendolyn are merely guests here.
No, Gwendolyn is a prisoner. Gwendolyn can't leave. She's a hostage.
Then perhaps the focus should be on getting her out. It does not matter to me how this city perceives me.
No, but remember, you're trying to save all of these people, right? Like, we've got the Sin Kai trying to destroy the world in a cycle, and the Turtles, I don't know if you've noticed, are incredibly A, strong, and B, connected. If they'll help us defeat the Sin Kai, you can help them solve the cycle, everyone wins. Otherwise, you, me, Orville, and anyone who allies with us has become an enemy of the Turtles. We're trying to kind of bring teams together instead of forcing them apart.
Also, I feel like I should mention the anti-magic deterrents around this place are pretty intense. So if you're going to do the mist thing, like, at least pay your lawyer first, maybe add them to your will if you're feeling generous, because yeah, no one's getting out that way. But sorry, you guys are doing a thing. Dennis, don't be rude and interrupt anymore. And Dennis just like ribbits and kind of angrily squishes down.
I do not own things or have any money for you.
Well, that's a bummer.
Murdoch. But to the point of the powerful consortium of Bleen. In our travels, Duncan, I have been the first turtle that other societies have seen for some time. The turtle civilization of Bleen has not been keeping their appointments. The root folk expected shipments of the Sundara when we arrived.
Sorry, I wrote this down. I've been thinking things, folks. Right, Sprongbrick.
And the retinue due for Sprongbrick was so late that we had resolved everything before the real ginkgo arrived. It seems to me that this sickness has greatly affected the consortium of Bleen. I am much more interested in addressing that. I do not think they are powerful or as dangerous as they once were.
So I don't really know where you're heading with this, I'll be honest.
So you can tell that Murdoch is a bit uncomfortable with this line of reasoning. Again, her general kind of overly slick demeanor is somewhat affected by this, as best she's trying to hide it. She is also sniffling. Like it's hard to keep a poker face when you're kind of a slobbery mess.
Mhm.
It's both easier because you're a slobbery mess, so you can just kind of write it off. But anything you would normally attempt to do is not great. Duncan, you want to roll me an insight check, please? And Makka, you can go ahead with a persuade. Or actually, sorry, Ryan, you could do persuasion if you want as well.
That would be bad. What am I trying to do with this, Tom?
This is you're trying to pick up on, like, Makka has basically just straight up come out and said that the consortium of Bleen is on the rocks. Like it is no longer, and it based on the evidence you've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Yeah,
yeah, and that the sickness is perhaps and Makka's kind of like hierarchy of concerns higher than getting them as allies in the alliance of equals. It's like, gotta solve this shit first because they are, right in their current state, not helpful. Also, of course, it ties into his cluster and his cycle and everything else. But for you, I think, Ryan, it's like everything he's just said, it sounds roughly true. You actually have a different turtle in here who has institutional knowledge of what's been going on in Bleen, who really has no reason to tell you any of that, but is seemingly like you can observe some cracks in her facade.
Okay, yeah, if he's going to try to do, yeah, because I think the challenge where I was getting lost was Duncan's like, yeah, all of that's true, but we could, if they're allies, it's easier to fix than if they're hunting us as criminals. And it's like, wait, so I've got a question for you, Mistress Turtle, Esquire. And he just like flips his hat up a little more rakishly and undoes 2 buttons on his shirt. And he's just like, I feel like you might actually know what's going on and what's the right thing for us to pay attention to. And then he realizes that what he did was entirely visual and will not affect a blind lawyer in any way, shape, or form. And he just drops his voice a little bit more and leans in because he knows that he smells generally good on most days. And I will use this watching point to give myself advantage on this persuasion check.
Great. Yeah. And because you took the extra steps to actually appeal to her in a way that would be appealing to her, she kind of goes, oh, well, I mean, I heard the buttons, but I mean, come on, bud, I don't give a shit. But the smell is good. It is much better than what I've been smelling. Oh, hang on. And she just like horks out some turtle goo and says,
I would like to inspect the turtle goo.
Fair enough.
When it's my turn.
But then she looks back, like turns her head back in your general direction. Also kind of like rakishly, would flip her hair if she had hair. So instead it's just kind of like a turtle, like flopping their head back and forth. And she says, well, I'm intrigued. You want to know what's what? Did you roll, Ren?
Yeah. So in the spirit of the roll, reflecting how I played it, the first die was a nat 1 when I just tried to make myself look more handsome, but then it's a 19.
Great. Yeah, very good.
Actually made the right moves.
Yeah, honestly, man, accessibility, it'll get you there every time. So she says, well, look, I hate to speak ill of the consortium, but things aren't great here. The curse that your buddy over here said to have unleashed on us has done quite a number on our operations, not to mention that all the failed shipments have got some of our longtime partners really a little bit cheesed, as it were. Quite frankly, things are kind of falling apart around here, and that's part of the reason they're so eager to put your pal here up on the chopping block. Someone's got to be blamed when everything goes wrong, and it sure as hell can't be the people in charge. So very easy to blame the weird hermit who lived in the woods. And besides, I mean, when your gravekeeper goes missing with the president and suddenly the bodies don't rot anymore, like that's a pretty easy thing to finger someone on, So yeah, you're both right and you're both wrong. And what I'm saying is, if you want to have any wiggle room here, any wiggle room at all, you gotta clear Mr. Makka's name. Otherwise it's just going to be real bad. Whether you want to save us or damn us, or whatever the fuck you want to do. I don't really care. But if you want to do any of that, you got to clear your name. It's as simple as that. Also, if you have any hope in hell of helping your friend, I saw what they did to the last emissary. They sent some follow-up, some scouts, and try to send some messengers to track down Orvel. The box that they brought him back in was, the smell alone was enough to indicate how rough it was in there. So,
all right. So I'll be the body that can move about in the world. I'll be able to do things to help those who are innocent or good. And we have that list of paperwork with Ita, where if we can determine who is corrupt or evil, and we can make bad things happen to them.
Yeah. Well, on that note, look, I've got some good news and some bad news for you. And it sounds like you're dealing with a lot. So I'll leave it up to you how you want to approach this. But
bad news first.
Great. The jury is pretty skewed. But the good news is there's some wiggle room. If you know a master wiggler, and from the timbre of your voice, I got to assume you consider yourself as such. No one who wears a cologne like that could possibly be anything but a charming silver-tongued devil. The jury's in deadlock.
He's not wearing any cologne. That's
just him?
What he smells like.
Oh, humans are fascinating. She says, all right, so here's what I've been able to figure out. Through some careful political maneuvering, I was able to stack the jury with some sympathetic folks who, Makka, you've helped in some way, shape, or form over the years, performing funeral rites, providing with medicinals. Hell, I remember I was having terrible migraines, and even I got a tincture from you at one point. Helped out tremendously. I mean, it's been getting worse lately, but I understand that's kind of true everywhere. So look, like, I get it. It's kind of why I volunteered for this. Plus, it's a really high profile case. And, if I win, I'm awesome and I'll get hired more, which for me and Dennis would be a good hit. Isn't that right, Dennis? And she just kind of like taps Dennis, and Dennis is like, Ribbit. And she's like, yeah, he gets it. Okay. So the jury's locked 4-4. But the good news is there are 3 remaining undecideds that you can push. Now, I know you only really need 2, but their lawyer is going to be doing the same thing. So you got to be real careful how you approach this. And if you can get all 3, then you're locked in. If you can only get 2, the odds are pretty solid, but could still go badly. If you only get 1, then you're going to have to try the mist thing. But honestly, last person who tried to break out of here ended up hecka dead. So really give that a think before you try it. Yeah. Makka?
Not the worst thing to happen to Makka. Just die. All right.
Yeah,
it's going to happen sometime.
Says, so she goes on to say, we've got 3 swing votes that you can, let's say, again, entirely legally manipulate and push and just nudge in the right direction. There's Wajdi Vine Marrow, the Pontifex of Beliefs. Now, this was one of those unfortunate times when a high-profile case, high-profile guy really wanted to be in the action, really wanted to be seen as being part of the process. So he kind of weaseled his way in. The Pontifex of Beliefs is in charge of overseeing the religious customs here in Bleen. We have a wide tapestry. As you've probably observed, our culture borrows rather heavily from around the world. Appropriate is perhaps the better term, but you get what I'm saying. It means we end up with a whole lot of gods and a whole lot of religions, anything anyone finds to get by, Me, I only worship those sweet, sweet Bleen bucks. Just love those Bleen bucks. But others have their own ways. Pontifex of Belief's job is to make sure that all those religions are getting along well, and that they're all remaining helpful and harmless. We don't want any major religious uprisings in Bleen. That would really screw with our vibe. So he's quite concerned about the new religion that has sprung up in your name, Makka. The Jassians have been spreading their cult propaganda to the deployment centers, which has been part of the reason that a lot of our shipments have been delayed. They keep slipping out of the factories and the deployment centers. Rather than sorting through all the goods that are meant to get shipped out, they're looking for more bodies in the street to bring to the Temple of Jossi they've constructed around your old cabin. It's part of the reason everyone's got such a fucking hard on for you right now. So if you talk to Vine Marrow, if you can find a way to help him sort that little piece of business out, I know he would be eternally grateful. Plus, if you can show him that you're not the secret leader of this cult, as people have rumored it for some time, that'll go a long way to clearing your name. You can either try, again, the trick to all this is you got to speak to these people first. If you just start fixing things, they're going to take the credit and you'll be fucked. And I'm here to unfuck you. So that's Wajdi. We got Phaedron Conesnout, concerned citizen, who is quite concerned about the lack of bureaucratic process these days. We have lost access to the sunken archives, which again, we put them underwater. What better place to hide a bunch of stuff? But unfortunately, our relationship with the Tritons has fallen apart somewhat. Since that sweet flow of those spore-based products kind of grew to a trickle. Seems that what little we have been able to give them has been having some rather unintended consequences to them down there. So they've blocked us off from the archive. Now, if I understand you correctly, Makka, they came to you when this had already started, right? The curse was already here.
Yes, I was approached to visit Orville.
Great. So we lost contact with the archive after you died, we assumed. But the order from Umos to you to join this, she would have had to file some paperwork to enlist you into that little sort of diplomatic party. I don't know if they probably didn't get you to sign anything or verbally agree to anything, because that's not really their style, nor yours, I don't think, from what I've heard, at least. But there will be records there. If you can find those records, that should give you some indication that this wasn't your fault. Also, it'll definitely swing Conesnout. He's very particular. From what my research has shown me, he's just really by the books. So if you have paperwork for him, he's going to be all yours. Finally, there's Darna Heavecrop. She's a bit of a character in a former client of mine. We had a bit of a falling out, but still respect her, still respect the game. She has, as I understand it, accrued a debt that she would love to pay off. And it seems that she is unable to do so. So if you're able to clear that ledger for her, I think she'd be pretty easily swayed to your side of things. But from the sounds of the gear you're wearing there, low voice smells good. I got to assume you're what? You're some kind of fancy fighter? Would that be fair?
Correct.
Great. Hearing a lot of leather and buckles, which admittedly kind of works for me. All right. So you should be able to fit the bill on this. I think you might be exactly who Darna needs.
All right. So that'd be a physical solution to the problem as opposed to some way I could make money fighting to then pay it off, correct?
Not that kind of debt, man. Again, my sources just indicated that it is a very particular debt and one she is completely incapable of paying back. If it was just money, she's got more than enough bleed bucks. My guess is she owes someone a favor. And as you know, favors are often much more costly than even a fistful of bleed bucks can get you. God, I love bleed bucks.
All right, so I've got my 3 targets. Makka, knowing that you'll be in here, it sounds like I may need your assistance with either the Jassians or the Tritons.
Sorry, she holds up a hand. She says, I'm going to stop you right there because I am such a good lawyer. And she does air quotes around good. It's like I managed to obtain a special writ our friend Makka here, and actually for one of your companions as well. The Bleen legal system is very complicated, rather arcane, and often very stupid. As a result, since he is my co-counsel, according to paperwork I filed earlier today, Makka will be able to help investigate his own case. Now, that said, there is a catch. Obviously, we're a little concerned about people running away. So you will have to drink an incredibly poisonous tincture that will slowly kill you if you fail to return in time. If that's agreeable to you, you're able to assist with the case. But I really cannot stress enough how much you do not want this poison to kick in, because it is rough stuff.
Trial is in 2 days, yes?
That's correct, yes.
When will the poison kill me?
If it will begin to kill you when you drink it. If we do not administer either another dose to extend the time or the antidote, it will kill you in 2 days and 1 hour. They're real specific about that. They got a whole hourglass situation going. It's incredible. Got this down to a fine art. Since you've left, healing arts have really gone to shit. But our arts of death are still top notch.
This is acceptable to me.
I have a quick question just about the timeline, because I've been confused about these things before. Now, when you say we have 2 days, do you mean we have tonight, all of tomorrow and that night, all of tomorrow the next day, then trial? Or is this we have tonight, tomorrow daytime, night, next time daytime, then bam, it's trial at 4 p.m.?
It's the second one. Yes, it is confusing and often a very convenient way to get around such things. But no, you've got the rest of today, tonight, you got all day tomorrow, and then bright and early, not even 4 p.m., bright and early, we're getting started. We're very efficient in Bleen when we're not all slowly succumbing to a curse that's killing us,
Yeah, so we've got to solve that. If we're looking at an equal amount of time for each problem, which never works out, but that's what we hope for. One thing tonight, one solved tomorrow daytime, one solved tomorrow night, then Makka gets depoisoned and we send him into the trial.
This sounds about right, yes.
Excellent. Is there any way we could get the princess or Ita to be able to assist us?
Yes, the writ does allow for one other investigator. In the case of the princess, she will also be forced to drink the poison. Ida, as I understand, is a guest of the palace, and then the guards come in and just throw her in a jail cell and slam it. It's okay, I heard slamming. Hello?
Things did not go as initially we expected. People here are very unreasonable.
Would I be safe to assume that is the orc countant, based on the amount of frustration I hear in the voice?
That is correct.
This is Ita. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you, Ida. Congratulations. You just got yourself a lawyer. My name's Murdoch Truegood. I'll be representing you, along with my seeing eye frog, Dennis. We're going to be your legal team. We're helping out Makka Deathcap. We're going to help you out too, all right? You just hang tight. You hang tight. This is a huge miscarriage of justice, and I will not stand for it.
All right. So I'm thinking if we can only get one other person out, Ita can stay in the cell. Ita can work on trying to solve the mystery of all the paperwork, because Ita's very efficient. And Murdoch, do we have some kind of, shall we say, lawyer-client confidentiality where you can't tell anyone what we say to you?
Yeah. Listen, I just need one Bleen buck to just confirm the deal here, and you just put it in my pocket, and I'm all yours.
All right. So, awkward moment. How would you feel about a bell or 5 candles as an equivalent to a Bleen buck in, let's say, a barter economy?
All right. Well, what kind of bell were we talking? Is it a fancy bell?
Yeah, it's gold. It's got a little couple of inscriptions on it. It's good for waving around if you're trying to get attention in the crowd.
I mean, yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. I can accept that. And you know what? When you get some Bleen bucks, just I'll sell it back to you at cost.
Trade. Yeah, so I think he'll run down the hallway and get his shit and then come back and give her the bell, because he doesn't have any fucking Bleen bucks. He's just got all this weird stuff in his backpack.
He's great. Okay, yes. Now I 100% work for you.
Do you also need money from me?
Honestly, it's fine. I just needed it so that I can tick the box and sleep at night. Realistically, I'm going to give you some shady advice. I've just told you to go bribe 3 jurors. Come on.
That's true. So I'm thinking we should take...
Oh.
Yeah, we're getting you unfucked. Don't worry about it. I'm a great lawyer.
This works much differently than in the Empire of Numbers.
Look, I would have told you it's because it actually works here, but all of our trade lines are falling apart. Our allies hate us, and apparently we're cursed. So you know what? It does work better in the Empire. You're absolutely correct. Duncan, I've cut you off twice. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, have the leaders reconsidered overhauling their judicial system?
All right, you know what, Ita? Could you just do the research on the paper? Because I'll leave you with the lawyer when we're done. But all I'm going to say to you is, generally speaking, you should talk to no one, and the lawyer should be the one to talk to everyone for you.
I agree wholeheartedly. So does Dennis. That makes 3-1. Vote passes.
Democracy works.
Yes, absolutely.
What I was going to say is, I think we should take the princess as the other member of the party because A, Ita's going to get us all thrown back in jail, apparently, yes. And B, she's a haunted suit of armor, so I don't think poison will hurt her. So they could pour it over her, but then if she's got her run, she'll be okay. Oh, yeah. No, they're going to have to watch her drink the potion in the... Like, she's going to have to stand in front of the court and do it. If she can't do that, we have had instances of... there was a very notable trial of one of the demon knights from Fortress Sprongbreck who, had heard... He was big into the orgy rooms back in his place. He thought there was one here. It wasn't. It was just a closet. He really fucked up. We have the ability to plant a rune on her armor that will just paralyze her in the armor in the case that it'll have the same effect as the poison, but we'll just lock the armor up. So what we used on the Demon Knight guy stopped him from getting into all sorts of shit. So same deal. No one needs to know there's no one in the armor. We'll just say she's like really attached to it. Does that work? That works for me if it works for you. All right, so...
Excuse me.
What a frog sound. I've never heard a frog sound like that before. I like it, though. Frog seems strong.
The frogs sound different here than they do in the Empire of Numbers. Is this normal?
I assume so, Ita. No one else seems weirded out by it. He looks at Makka, who's sitting there still deadpan. and the lawyer who hasn't reacted. So, I guess... Do we head out? Should we just do this poison thing? What do we got to do here?
Yeah, if you do want to go this route, she'll just arrange that to happen. We don't need to play that scene out. But if you're good to go on that, she'll kind of get the party assembled. And Gwendolyn, you're happy to be reunited with your friends and to be out of your gilded cage. Less happy to be immediately branded with a rune that you can actually feel when they stamp it against the armor. It's an oddly intimate and somewhat physical sensation that you're not used to because the effect of this magical binding rune is strong enough to hit your essence as well as the armor. So you are very much as vulnerable to this as others. Makka, for you, it's just glug glug, spit out the cork. Who cares? But happily, the party's back together, and you can set out on your journey to attempt to influence the jurors. Duncan, you seem to be kind of driving the boat. Who do you go to first?
This episode of Curse Code and Crowd Sound was mixed and edited by Laura Hamstra, and the campaign was created by Tom McGee. Our original theme music was composed by Landon Knoblock, and Curse Code and Crown's logo was created by the brilliant Decapitated Markers. If you want to follow our players or our DM on Twitter, you can reach out to Laura at EL Hamstring, Ryan at the Ryan LaPlante, Tyler at Tyler_Hewitt, Tom McGee at McGeeTD, or you can message our whole company at Dum Dum Dice. So please join us again for more Curse, Code, and Crown!
Dum Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christian Menicola, Long, the Half-Blind Prophet, James Cuellar, Charles Grams, Christopher Little, Sue 1, George Dolby, One True Artistry, Orion Birchfield, Lord of Bradovic, Noel Lewis, Scott Garland, Anthony Griffin, Chet Awesome Laser, Jordan Neesmith, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Taryn Hefner, Cade Peters, Richard Cranium, Christian Mendez, Anna Zed, Eric Williams, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Great Dane, Acrix, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.